So we decided to record a frequently asked questions video just to answer some of the questions that you guys have sent over, as well as some questions that we've seen some other places. So first up on the list is going to be, how is the weather in Bali? So typically the weather here is about 80 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit for the whole year. They do have two main seasons. Their dry seasons is between May and September, and the wet seasons are between October to April. Even in the wet season though, like, it will rain sporadically. It typically only lasts about 5 to 10 minutes, and it never rains like all day back to back, so that's a good thing. So even though it's like wet, it's not really that bad.
It's tropical weather. It's never really a bad day in Bali, I feel like. So another question we've been getting is, do you need a visa to enter Bali? You don't need a visa to enter, but you will get one on arrival, and if you want, you can extend it for an additional 30 days for an additional fee. Now, if you are late leaving, it is a penalty of 300,000 rupiah per day. So, you know, make sure that if you are here, just like any country, you should be staying, you know, within the time frames of what they're asking you to. So it's pretty important.
Also, know that the day that you arrive, the day that you leave, they each count as their own separate day, and they count towards to 30.
Yes.
So make sure that you include that in your travel plan so that you don't get mixed up thinking you have more time than you do. So next up we're gonna have, is Bali safe? I personally would say Bali is safe. I've never felt unsafe since being here. The people are all super friendly. They go out of their way to be helpful to you and kind. Obviously this is a foreign country, so you never want to make yourself put yourself in a predicament where you could be taken advantage of or looked upon as a victim. As long as you're aware of your surroundings and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing and act responsibly, you should have no issues.
We've been here 30 days as well, and we haven't had any issues since we've been here. We haven't felt unsafe once.
No, and this is our second time being here.
Yeah, and this is where you guys see us now is a popular location that we typically eat or hang out at. This is Batu Belong. If you come here, there's a good little restaurant here in the corner called The Middle. They make great food and really good service. So the next question we have been getting is, should I rent a car when I come to Bali? I'm gonna answer that with a big no. So a lot of people, what they do is when they come to Bali, they typically rent a scooter. There's a lot of scooters on the road. It's very common for everyone to ride scooters. You can rent a car in Bali, but it's not recommended, especially because the roads are tight and it's kind of hard if you're not used to that type of terrain. So I wouldn't recommend renting a car in Bali at all.
There is Grab that's similar to Uber, and that's a pretty good car service. So like I said, similar to Uber, you order it on your phone, they come, but it's better than Uber because it doesn't charge you for the length of time that you're actually driving. They just give you a set price to go from point A to point B, and it stays the same no matter how long it took you. We got stuck in traffic coming back from Ubud one day. It took us 2 hours to get home, and our fare never changed. So pretty good to know. Another popular question is, can I drink the water? We personally don't drink the water, and I would not recommend it, only because their water quality is not tested. So we just try to use bottled water from everything from brushing our teeth, and really the only thing we use the Balinese water for is to take a shower or wash our hands or things of that nature. But other than that, I would recommend just drinking from a water bottle, or even buying one of those insulated bottles that you can use to keep your water cold and things of that nature.
Yeah, I agree.
And typically it is about like $5,000, which is about 36 cents or so USD. So it's really affordable to buy the bottled water too, so it's not like it's a hassle for you to have to buy the water.
So the next question we get a lot is, what about healthcare, and do you need insurance when you come to Bali? So the answer to that is yes. Anytime you're traveling, you should have some sort of insurance, even if it's just a small insurance from your credit card, or maybe your own insurance at home covers some international travel, but if not, you really should. We use World Nomads, so definitely, you know, you guys should check them out. But there's all different types of travel insurance companies online that you can look up, and certain ones for specific countries and stuff like that, but it's definitely necessary. The last thing you want to do is get sick or get hurt in the country and have no insurance and stuck with a big bill. Sometimes you can't leave, you have to call home and ask for money. It's just not a good scenario for anybody.
I was gonna say, not sometimes. You're not allowed to leave until your bill is paid. It's not like being in America. So please know that. They will keep you until your bill is paid.
Yes.
And like we've heard horror stories of people having to like remortgage their house and all sorts of things. Their parents are trying to scrape together money. It's just not a good situation.
Yeah.
So know that before you come, that you'd rather be safe than sorry. And it's worth it just for the insurance.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's usually not that expensive either. So it's definitely worth it.
Next question is, what clothing can I wear in Bali? So for the most part, it is pretty relaxed as it is a beach town, but they still do have some things that they ask everyone to be aware of. For the guys, you can bring like, well, what do you want to bring? Like t-shirts, shorts, swim trunks, things of that nature. But for the women, you can dress like comfortably, but also modestly. Like shorts, t-shirts, tanks, crop tops are okay, as a lot of people do wear them, both tourists and locals. But keep in mind that when you go to the temples and things, you'll have to keep your ankles, your shoulders, your knees covered, things like that. So it's like modest but comfortable.
And a good thing to note is there in Bali they sell sarongs. So it's like a thin piece of clothing that you can wear and wrap around your shoulders, wrap around your waist to cover your ankles and stuff like that. A lot of times if you're going to temples, you have to be, like she said, wrapped up or covered up. So that's an easy way to just, you know, get around it. They usually sell sarongs on site. Some of them actually give away for free. It depends on the temple you're going to, but it is something to know, something you want to be aware of. And you're gonna see here also, there's probably gonna be people walking behind us. We're at the beach, so it's common for people to be wearing beachwear and bikinis and shorts and stuff like that, no shirts, because you're at the beach. That's accepted. But if you were to go further, go in the middle of town, it's
try
not
to dress a little more conservatively.
Exactly. So another question we've been getting is what about credit cards, exchange rates, currency? So in terms of credit cards and debit cards, Bali does accept you know, debit cards and credit cards in most places, but cash is definitely still king here. If you come here, it's definitely recommended that you do carry cash with you, but luckily there is loads of ATMs, and you can go to the ATM, or if you bring cash with you to the island, you can exchange it. There's currency exchanges here. There's tons of them in Canggu and all over Bali. One thing to note though is if you are going to a currency exchange, make sure it looks like a reputable currency exchange place, somewhere that doesn't just have like a sign that says we do currency exchange. You want to go somewhere that has, you know, rates listed and everything like that. But pretty much, I mean, everything, you can use your card a lot of times at like high-end places, or most of the warongs you can't. Warongs are kind of like the local restaurants. Those are places that they usually don't accept. So that's pretty much it. They accept it in most places, but cash is still welcomed and king here for sure.
A lot of people want to know what the exchange rate here is in Bali, and it's about 13,500 rupiah to $1 US. So your dollar does go pretty far here in Indonesia, so that's a pretty good thing.
Yeah. Now, kind of like piggybacking off of that, another question we get is how expensive is Bali? Bali can really be as expensive as you want it to be.
Yes.
If you want it to be dirt cheap and, you know, be on a budget and live on, you know, $10 to $20 a day, you definitely can. But just know that you are going to have to eat local. You're going to have to stay at a hostel or a smaller villa. It kind of varies, you know. You can eat out and spend, you know, $2 to $3 per meal. They give you an example. You know, we just had lunch here. I just had a nasi goreng, which is typical Indonesian lunch, and that cost me 30K, so around like $2.50. So definitely like a budget lunch. But Brandy, on the other hand, just wanted nachos, and that's a little bit. It's not an Indonesian lunch. It's
95 rupiah.
So that's almost like $6-7 just for that meal. So it varies. And granted, we're also at a local warong. So the prices are a little bit cheaper. If we were at some of the other restaurants on the strip over here, it could be a little bit more expensive. You know, I think, you know, in terms of like villas and stuff like that, the villa that we're staying at, if you check out our other video, it's only $400 for the month. You could have a villa that costs upwards of $1,500 to $2,000. And obviously that's gonna come with, you know, 2 or 3 bedrooms, a pool, and maybe close to the beach, maybe in a different part of the island. It varies. You could stay at a hostel for as little as $10 a day or $5 a day. So it definitely, you know, like I said, it can be as cheap as you want it or as expensive as you want it.
Yeah. Which is pretty great because you really have the option. It's all about how much you're trying to spend and the places that you choose to go and visit.
Yeah,
but you can really customize it and do really affordable, really lavish, or a mix of the two, and that's kind of where we are.
And another thing to note too is like excursions and stuff like that. Price of excursions can be expensive to some extent. Like we actually just booked an excursion that we're going to be doing tomorrow, and that cost us $100 per person almost. Now that's pretty expensive to go out and do a day activity, but it covers everything from travel to we're going to be on a boat, we're going to have our own private tour, You know, food and everything is included. So it kind of varies. You know, you can find cheaper excursions. We're just, you know, we're kind of running out of time. We're trying to wrap some things into Bali, which is why we booked it. But you know, like I said, it can vary. You know, we also took trips up to Ubud and did things on our own through like Grab and different things like that, and that cost us next to nothing. We were able to do, you know, see waterfalls and different things, and that cost us, for the both of us, less than $50-$60 for the entire day.
Yeah.
You know, so it kind of varies. Like I said, it could be as expensive as you want it to be, or it could be very cheap. It all depends on what you're willing to do.
So another popular question that we get is, what is the normal price of food? Devin kind of just covered it, but if you really want to speak to like Indonesian Balinese food, you can probably eat for about $2.50 US for every meal per person. If you want to get like a typical meal of some nasi goreng or mee goreng, which is either noodles or rice with eggs and like bean sprouts and different vegetables. Sometimes they add chicken or things to it, like chicken spring rolls, just typical Indonesian meals that they serve here. They're pretty inexpensive if you're eating at a local restaurant. But if you want to go out to like a 5-star dinner or just eat something really fancy, you can expect to pay between like $500,000 to about $1 million, which is what?
No, it's true. I mean, that's what you're gonna spend, especially if you're going, you know, for the both of us, right?
Yeah.
So you're not gonna spend that on one person. You can, but it's very uncommon. I would say if you're going out to like high-end places, it's gonna be between like $400,000 to $600,000 per person, especially if you're drinking and get cocktails in. That's usually where the money comes in at.
Yes.
So another question we've been getting while we're in Bali is like internet accessible. Internet is everywhere here. It's definitely, I'm not gonna say it's the greatest or as fast as everything you see in the US, but there's definitely internet here. Even here on the beach, we're completely on Wi-Fi. We're getting probably like 15-20 megabytes per second. Back in our hotel, we're getting around like 30 to 40. So the internet is pretty good, and pretty much every cafe here offers free Wi-Fi.
Like you sit down and they give you like a little piece of paper with their Wi-Fi name and their password written on them, and they do tend to change them. I would say daily, because they get different rounds of customers in, but you could just ask them for it, and they're so nice, and they have it all written out, so there's no confusion. So that's pretty awesome.
In terms of like, if you need something faster than that, there are co-working spaces in Bali. There's a few where we're staying in Canggu. There's also a few up in Ubud as well. They have speeds up to like 100 megabytes per second. So you can get really fast internet speeds. Those places you do have to pay for. It's usually like $10 to $20 per day on the location that you're going to. Higher internet speeds are available.
Another popular question we get is, what language do they speak in Bali? So here they speak Bahasa Bali and Bahasa Indonesia. Don't quote me on how to say it. I'm trying my best, but I do believe that that's the languages that they speak. And we've also noticed that a lot of the local people are also bilingual, and they speak English as a second language. Typically it is usually like younger people that know the English language, but the older people know bits and pieces, and they're always, like I said, they're so helpful. So they're willing to try to help you as best as they can, even if they don't 100% understand what you're saying. All right, so another question that us Americans like to know, will you be able to charge your phone, cameras, laptops, etc.? Yes. So Bali does have fairly stable like electricity, so no worries there. And the 2 times we visited Bali, we've experienced blackouts twice, one on each time, and each time it lasted, I'd say, no more than 5 to 10 minutes. Very short, but apart from that, we've had no issues with electricity. Every day it's up, it's running, everything is powered normally, and it's pretty much what you can expect at home.
Another question that we get is, what is the best taxi service to use in Bali? So in terms of taxis themselves, you can just find taxis just, you know, walk on the streets or just really just anywhere. They're all over the place. The big one in Bali is they have Bluebird. They even have an app for it. So basically Bluebird is like blue cars. They have the taxi logo on the top, and you just pick up, they have a ton of pickup locations, or they even pick you up at where you are. And you know, using Bluebird is always good because they do use meter. So you're guaranteed using meter when you get in the taxi. Another thing that we use, like Bernie had touched on earlier, is we use Grab or Gojek. Grab is probably my favorite. It's what I use the most. But it's like she said earlier, it's just good because it's a set price. You know exactly what you're paying for and where you're going. It can vary depending on like the time of the day. If sometimes you can, you know, get a price to somewhere and it costs 140,000. Another time, you know, of the day it could cost 80,000. So it kind of varies on what time of the day you're going or what's going on, traffic and things like that. It's just like Uber and Lyft back home.
cool with the set price.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is nice.
So, I mean, that's really it. Those are our frequently asked questions.
Those are all.
Yeah, so if you guys have any other questions, feel free to drop them below in the comments. We'll be sure to answer them there. Also, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We see you guys watching. Just subscribe if you like the video. It would really go a long way for us.
Definitely.
So click the little red bell down below. And I think that's it. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Later, guys. Bye.
Thanks for watching.
Like, comment, subscribe.
And we'll see you guys in the next one.